2015 annual meeting of the South Carolina Women Lawyers Association. And now, without further ado, here's Marguerite.
Hello, folks. Welcome to SCWLA's very first video annual meeting. We're so happy to have all of you with us today over the YouTube channel. Thanks particularly to our webmaster, Jay Wingard, for helping us set this up. We hope it works. We hope it'll be fun. In any event, we're glad you're here with us today. Now, most of you understand that we normally have our annual meeting during our fall conference. But this year, unfortunately, as most of you know, our conference was canceled because of the unprecedented flooding here in Columbia. So our president-elect, Kelly Jolly, who's a technology guru, came up with the idea of a video meeting. It allows us to fulfill our obligations under our bylaws to have an annual meeting and you to attend from your office, your home, your car, from wherever, your bubble bath, and be part of the process here today. Now, we don't have a lot of business, but we do have a few announcements. We have some people to thank, and I'm going to close the meeting today with a personal note by reading my final president's letter to you. So let's get started. Announcement number one. We're happy to announce that we have a great slate of officers for 2016. Kelly Jolly from Hilton Head, used to be with McNair, now has her own law firm, is going to be our president next year. Julie Moose from Turner Pageant in Florence, my hometown, is going to be next year's president-elect. Following Julie into the position of treasurer is my law partner, Molly Cherry, from Nexon Pruitt in Charleston. And rounding out our slate of officers next year is Sheila B. here in Columbia with Richardson Plowden. Many of you know Sheila because she was the chair of this year's annual conference, which unfortunately, as we said a minute ago, was canceled. Now, in addition, we're very happy this year to have one new board member in Greenville, Seema Patel, who's also with Nexon Pruitt. Seema is going to be a great addition to our upstate group. I know that Kelly next year will have more to say to you about reorganization of SCWLA and particular emphasis on regional activities. But we're glad to have Seema as part of the upstate team, and we thank her for agreeing to join the SCWLA board. At the same time, we're welcoming our new officers and our new board member. We have some folks who are leaving, and we want to thank them for their service. The folks who have served for many years as directors of SCWLA and who are rolling off this year are the following: Jennifer Ashburn, Malia Bowers Jefferson, Judge Allison Lee, Stephanie Nye, Jennifer Rubin, and Flo Vinson. We thank all of these wonderful people for their service, and we look forward to having them continue to participate actively in SCWLA. So thank you all. Now, here's some additional announcements. First, we're really glad to tell you that we've been able to reschedule our annual conference. It's going to be March the 18th. Mark your calendars. It's going to be at the South Carolina Bar headquarters building. The bar has graciously agreed to let us hold our sort of makeup conference there. We're going to have some programming that was scheduled for fall and some that is new on the 18th. And good news for everyone who needs additional CLE for 2015, this conference will fall within the grace period for 2015. So you can come on the 18th and get all the CLE you might need for 2015 and also carry over into 2016 and later years. So that's great news. Also, the night before, on March the 17th, we've been able to convince the State Museum to let us come back. We were going to be there last fall for our annual awards night. This is when we present our annual Bissell Award. The SCWLA Foundation usually presents its Dicus Award, and this year we're extremely excited to present our first Jean Hafer Toll Leadership Award. We're really looking forward to a great evening. It's always a great event, and even if you can't attend the conference on the 18th, please join us the night of the 17th here in Columbia at the State Museum for our annual awards night. Now, I said a minute ago that what we're going to do this spring is to bring back some of the programming we had planned for the fall conference that was canceled. In particular, last fall, we had planned to begin what we're calling our resilience project. We are working this year with Sarah Fowler, who is a specialist in positive psychology and particularly in the psychology of resilience. Sarah was going to be at our October conference, and she was going to present what we called a series of resilience moments, meaning that between speakers, Sarah was going to speak to us about what resilience is, why it matters, and how you can develop your resilience skills to help you in your day-to-day life, and particularly in the practice of law. Because our conference was canceled, we brought Sarah down anyway, and we took her into a recording studio, and she recorded a series of resilience moments. Those resilience moments will be live on our website, SCWLA.org, next month, and you can view them in advance of the March conference. But at the March conference, Sarah will be there to present those moments live. In addition, this coming year, we'll be working with Sarah to really study what it means to be a female lawyer, what stressors there are, and how we can develop specific resilient skills that apply to and are appropriate for women lawyers. We hope this will be a pilot project for women lawyers across the country. We're really excited to have Sarah involved, and we look forward to meeting her in person in March. Now, let me check my notes here. We have some people that we want to thank particularly this year. I want to thank particularly this year. Let's start with the top of the list, although it's not necessarily the order of importance, but Dean Rob Wilcox from the USC School of Law. We really appreciate everything Dean Wilcox did to help us schedule our fall convention at the law school, and the grace and support he showed us when it was necessary for us to cancel that event. So hats off, salute to Dean Wilcox. We hope you'll invite us back when you have your brand new law school open. We also want to thank Terry Burnett of the South Carolina Bar. The bar has been a great support to the SCWLA and is very helpful to us in planning and putting on our annual convention. We're looking forward to being with you, Terry, and your staff in March, March the 18th, as I said earlier. No event of this sort, no SCWLA video presentation, no SCWLA web presentation, no SCWLA graphic or communication would occur without the continuous support and endless help of our webmaster, Jay Wingard at 18th Street Designs. Thank you, Jay. I suspect you're listening to this. I hope we're doing it right. He helped us set up this annual meeting. We love and support Jay. Closer to home, here at Nexen Pruitt, I want to offer my personal thanks to my law firm partners, and particularly the chairman of our firm, John Swords. This firm has literally put its money where its mouth is as to diversity and support of women lawyers in this state. I thank all of you. And while I'm thanking Nexen Pruitt, I want to particularly thank our good friend, Eric James, who is our graphic artist in-house. If anything about SCWLA graphics look good to you, if you like any of our updates we've done this year, any of our new designs, you can pretty well be guaranteed that Eric James had a hand in it. And I want to also recognize, because we need to do this, all of our regional representatives. You know who you are, you know what you've done. I thank each of you individually and collectively for a great job this year. SCWLA programming is comprehensive, it is entertaining, it's good CLE, and it's a great bargain. Mary Beth Pfister, who is our membership chair, has done a sensational job this year. She's targeted, in particular, the law schools. We have a lot of energy around young women lawyers, and Mary Beth, thank you for all your efforts this year. And particularly, I want to thank Elise Bailey, who's our former executive director, who, when she took a job with Turner Pageant earlier this year, promised me that she would stay involved. And good to her word, Elise has picked up our community relations committee and set it on fire. She was in the middle of a public service program creating blessing bags when the floods hit. We turned that program into a statewide program. And more recently, over the holidays, Elise led an effort across all of our SCWLA regions to collect toys for children in foster care. Without our year, the children in the Midlands would not have had any toys from Santa. So thank you, Elise. Thank you for what you've done for us in the past, and we're looking to you for great things in the future. And finally, just because she's here in the room with me, come here, Mickey. This is our executive director, Mickey Lindler. Many of you have met her in person. Others of you have not. She's always there. She's always at the other end of the phone, the other end of the email, and she is really helping SCWLA move to the next level. Now, as a point of personal privilege, I want to read you my final President's Letter of 2015. It is dated December 30, 2015, today, and it's entitled, "The Place That Seems the End." Dear SCWLA members, my grandmother Eva lived in Abbeville, South Carolina. She was a secretary in a textile mill. Her only sister, my Aunt Sophie, lived in Greensea, North Carolina. She taught second grade. Every day after they retired, my grandmother and her sister wrote a letter to each other. They wrote about big things like births and deaths and politics, and small things like hats and shoes and a granddaughter's visit. But they wrote literally every day. When I became president of SCWLA, I decided, perhaps in memory of my grandmother, to write you letters. It was less about having something important to say than my wanting to share something, perhaps something of myself, with you. So I wrote about big things like the rule of law and religious tolerance and equal pay, and small things like fun and ice cream and friendship. But I wrote literally every month. Some months I struggled. Other months the letters seemed to write themselves. My letter about the Charleston massacre came to me in the middle of a sleepless night. But through it all, I felt a special connection with each of you. When it came time for this, my last letter, I decided to write a barn burner. It was going to be about SCWLA and to advance the status of women. It was going to remind us about SCWLA's important goals, including particularly its goal of increasing the number of women in our judiciary. And it was going to challenge all of us to do better and to work harder in this state where women are so undervalued and some would say underemployed. Earlier this week, I wrote that letter. It was a good letter, a strong letter. And one day I may share that letter with you, but not today. Why not? Because upon reflection, the words did not come from my heart. So today, this is my final message to you as president. The world is round, and sometimes the place that seems the end is only the beginning. For those of you who have suffered a personal loss or a professional disappointment, and you know who you are, have hope for the future. For those of you who have experienced a personal joy or a professional success, and you know who you are, share your happiness with others. For those of you who faced an obstacle and failed at your first attempt, and you know who you are, try and try again. And for those of you who continue to doubt your value as a person or as a professional, and you know who you are, get up, get dressed, and get going. And finally, to Chief Justice Jean Hafer-Toll, who retires tomorrow, thank you for your service, your leadership, and your encouragement. In no small way, your success has raised the profile of every woman lawyer in this state. On behalf of SCWLA, we salute you at what may seem to be the end and wait with anxious expectation for what really is only the beginning. After all, the world is round. Sincerely yours, Marguerite Willis. Ladies, thank you for allowing me to serve this year as president of SCWLA. It has been my honor, it has been my privilege, and it has been my pleasure. I want to just give a special shout out to my husband, my sister, my nieces, and my godson, all of whom are watching this video conference today. Hi, I love all of you. Thank you for being such a big part of my life. And now, with no further business at hand, I call this 2015 annual meeting of SCWLA to a close. Happy New Year.
Thank you for joining SCWLA's 2015 annual meeting. Remember to look for Sarah Fowler's Resilience Moments on the SCWLA website in January, and mark your calendars for the SCWLA Convention and Awards Night, March 17th and 18th here in Columbia. Happy New Year and goodbye.